Oh wait, I need to announce what this video is.
Oh
okay.
yeah. Do we want to start over?
It's like all over the place.
We compare and contrast our experiences.
Thank you. Wow, you should
So
just do it for me. Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I have Sierra here with me. This is my, what do I call you? You're my cousin. And she is here because we are both pregnant actually. We're 10 weeks apart, so it's really fun. I never forget like how far along you are because I just count back 10 weeks.
I know, me neither.
So it's perfect. But yeah, so that's really exciting. So we're kind of going through this together. Today we're going to talk about our first trimester experiences, and since, you know, I think every pregnancy is so different, and mine I felt like was really abnormal in some ways, in other ways it wasn't, it might be helpful to get someone else's experience too, because everyone's different, so you might relate more with her or with me or whatever, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
kind
sense.
of rambled that one on. For me, it feels like it was so long ago.
I know, me too. I feel like I've been pregnant for so long. And I really
never
haven't
ending.
been. That's the saddest thing. And I feel so bad, but I feel like I've been pregnant for a million years.
Dude, I feel that.
And I can still, anyway, we'll get into that part, but.
Okay, so we have, oh gosh, you have the notes.
I have the notes.
Oh, fatigue. That is the first one. For me, that was actually probably the main symptom that I had a really easy first trimester, I would say. My pregnancy's been hard in other ways, but as for my first trimester, that's normally people's hardest, but it was actually my easiest, which is really weird. But so basically fatigue was my main one, and I was very fatigued. Oof. Like, I'm a tired person anyway though, so that might have like contributed to it because I'm always like down for a nap.
Yeah, but anytime that I like texted you or called you, you were always telling me, I just woke up. Or, Sierra, I fell asleep for 4 hours.
The length in my naps that I got to a point that I was okay with was embarrassing. Like, I would sleep all day. And normally I like feel guilty about that, but I didn't even care because I couldn't help it. I would fall asleep and I would wake up and I was on another, it was like I was on another planet. Like, I was like, who am I? Where am I? And like 4 hours had passed by or however long. Yeah. It's just so embarrassing. But Dallin was so sweet about it. He was really okay. He would just let me sleep, which I was really grateful for because I really needed that. You had fatigue too, right?
I did. It wasn't as bad. Like, I wasn't as fatigued as often. It was on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. Some days I just felt like a zombie or like a shell of myself. Yeah. My main thing was the typical nausea. I didn't throw up at all, actually, which was really nice. And I feel really lucky because I hate throwing up so much. But I was nauseous pretty much from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep. It was almost harder sometimes because you know how when you throw up, you feel better afterwards?
Yeah, there's like relief to it.
Yeah, there just wasn't ever that.
That's horrible. It's just always that anticipation and like, but it never actually happens.
Yeah, and there were times I got really close and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna throw up. But I hate throwing up so much, so I have a really hard time actually throwing up. Yeah. And so that's probably why I didn't. But that was just the main thing, is that I just constantly felt nauseous. And so because of that, I had zero appetite. And so I would force myself to eat stuff.
You ate so many mashed potatoes.
I did. I ate so many mashed potatoes because the thing is bland food was the only thing that sounded good to me. Yeah. Anything with an even slightly complicated flavor profile, the thought of it made me feel so sick. And so bland food was my best friend. Mashed potatoes, pretzels,
pickles. Those aren't bland.
Aren't bland, but I could eat a whole jar in one sitting, and I felt bad because that's really stereotypical pregnant thing to like eat pickles, but I eat them all the time. Now I can eat more like complicated, more flavorful foods, but still some stuff I can't eat.
Yours hasn't like really gone away fully, but it's gotten better.
No, it's gotten better. I have an appetite back and I actually feel hungry sometimes.
Yeah. I didn't have like super bad nausea like her. That's kind of what I meant when I said like my first trimester was easier, because I know it's really common to be like super sick all the time. I did have a little bit of nausea, but it would be like, it would kind of come over me, and for 5 or 10 minutes it would be there and then it would leave. So I'm really lucky. Yeah. But I did have a lot of trouble with foods that were like really intense in flavor and things like that. So I felt the same way. I ate so much toast. But one thing that we both struggled with is salsa. And we both love salsa.
I haven't been able to eat my favorite salsa since October.
That's a sad life.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you because I can eat salsa now, but she still can't.
Still can't.
Okay, so the next one for me that I had a lot was cramping in the first trimester. And it actually freaked me out a lot because I was like, what's wrong? Because it was really intense. It was almost like, it felt like a contraction almost, which is really weird, but it was a surge of pain, and I would just stand there for a second and just have to wait till it was over, and then I was totally good.
Oh, that's weird.
But I looked it up, and apparently it happens, and it didn't mean anything bad, and my doctor said that's normal, you're okay, because I think as long as you're not bleeding and you don't have anything that's really severe, then you're fine. But I had that so often, and I think what it was just my uterus growing, but I would have it all the time. People talk about twinges, and I had that too. But it was a distinct just pain that it would go away.
This started in my first trimester and has continued to today, but I was thirsty 24/7. All I wanted was to drink water. I have never been a more hydrated human being than I am now.
Which is good, I guess, because you're pregnant, so you need to
Well, and also my sister-in-law told me that staying as hydrated as possible also helps with feeling nauseous, which really did. Drinking water helped a ton with feeling less nauseous, and I was already thirsty all the time anyway, so it just...
Also, it helps with your nausea?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I've heard a lot of people say that it makes it worse. They couldn't even drink water because it would make them nauseous.
Well, because I noticed that if I let myself get more dehydrated, I felt more nauseous. So, it wouldn't help alleviate nausea, but if I stayed hydrated, it would be duller.
Oh.
Or, less intense throughout the day.
Because your stomach is probably full, at least it's full of something. It's full of water.
Yeah, and I was able to, everything was able to function fully hydrated. I don't know if that makes a difference in, food or anything,
probably.
But that's what she told me, and that's what I did, and it helped.
I'm glad. And also eating things, people say this a lot, but it's true. Eating smaller amounts more frequently really helps too, I think.
Oh yeah, I eat all the time.
Yeah, because when you get hungrier, then you get more nauseous, and it's worse. So it's it's hard to eat because you're nauseous, but you have to just try because it helps. Oh, this one.
She debated whether or not she wanted to talk about this one.
It's super TMI, but it's so real, so I feel I should talk about it. Because that's, honestly, the people, hopefully, that are watching these videos are people who are curious and want to know. So, one thing that I had really bad in my first trimester is constipation. That was not a good time.
Being constipated is really not a fun time.
Everything just kind of stops working in your body and you just feel absolute garbage. And then it makes you just feel even more blah, especially in your first trimester when you're already feeling really blah and fatigued. So yeah, that was not fun. But what I just did was I tried to just drink as much water as I could. I was not thirsty all the time like you were. So it was I had to force myself. But that helped a lot. And smoothies. That's what I would suggest.
Up that fiber, girl.
Yeah, honestly, smoothies are my best friend. I love smoothies. So that was something that was really annoying, but it really only lasted my first trimester, and I know a lot of people say that it it can get even worse, or it lasts their whole pregnancy, but for me it didn't.
Yeah, mine didn't start till second trimester.
Yeah. So I think it just really depends on your body.
Yeah.
But you probably will experience it at least once.
Yeah, it's a good time. The next one that I have is just that I remember being really moody all the time. I know you feel the exact same way. Yeah. For me, it felt kind of like I was PMSing for 3 straight months,
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, as far as my moodiness goes, and I already am a very introverted person, and maybe this just speaks more about me as a person and what I need to work on, but I found that my moodiness, I was getting really irritated with people a lot faster than I normally do, and I became even more introverted than I already am, whereas when I wasn't at work or wasn't somewhere I had to be, all I wanted to do was be by myself in my apartment with no one talking to me.
Yeah. Even I didn't see you for 3 straight weeks.
Yeah, right. We hang out all the time, but even then, and it's not anything against anyone personally, other than my husband, I was totally content to just sit in my apartment and have nobody look at me or talk to me. And I don't know why it made me so much more introverted. I have gotten out of that in the last few weeks where I'm more excited to hang out with other people and I'm back to being a functioning person. But for a while, I just kind of shut myself in. And I don't know if that really goes with my moodiness at all.
I think so. I remember I came over to your apartment and you had like built like a box, so she has like a sectional couch. And you had put them all together so that they created like a square, right? And you're just like sitting, like laying there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're laying there with your snacks and your blanket, and you just looked like you had been there all day, which you said I had. And you were like, yeah, the amount of episodes of One Tree Hill I've watched is embarrassing or something.
I know so exactly what day you're talking about. It was my one day off.
Yeah.
And in the most exhausting week ever. I don't know what was particularly exhausting about that week.
Yeah.
But I had one day off and I had no plans. And so I decided I am not doing anything that I don't want to do today. And I watched, I don't know if I should admit to how many, but my husband went to work. He took the car, so I had no, like, option to go anywhere. And I sat my butt down on the couch, and I watched One Tree Hill, and I ate the few things that sounded good to me, and I laid there all day.
You lived your best life.
I did. It was the best day. I would relive that day.
Oh, there was one. You did want to talk about your hair.
Oh, no, I didn't talk about my hair.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I almost just dropped my phone. Something else, and I don't know if this is super pregnancy related or what, but I've always been a person that's had like mostly straight, frizzy, kind of wavy hair, and I don't know if you can really tell, but it's getting a lot curlier or like tighter waves. The bottom of my hair is starting to almost get little ringlets sometimes too, which is really interesting because that's never been my hair type before. And I had someone comment to me like a few weeks ago. They said, your hair looks so much curlier lately.
That's so funny.
And my husband goes, yeah, she's pregnant. That's why. But I don't know how related that is. I know that when my mom had me, she went from having one hair type to a completely different hair type.
I've heard of that happening.
Yeah.
That's really common. I can go longer periods of time without having to wash it, which is super nice. Oh,
seriously.
Sorry. I had a moment where all of a sudden I remember something else. Itchiness. It's the worst. Have you had itchiness?
Really? Actually, yeah. There was one night where I was itchy from head to toe and I could not get comfortable.
Yeah.
I almost freaked out. I couldn't stop, and Zach was like, what's going on? What's your problem? Because I was so itchy.
Yeah, that's what I've had too. And I've heard it's like a thing. Like it's a pregnancy thing.
Dang.
And no one talks about it. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm itchy from here down, all the way to my ankles. Actually, my ankles are some of the most itchy things on my body, which is really weird. And obviously your belly gets really itchy, but that's just, it's growing. I've had to have like lotion by my bed because every night I have to do this whole routine or else I'll like get in bed and then all of a sudden I'm like so itchy. And so if I do lotion before, usually it's okay. That's probably the last thing I would say that I experienced.
I have another thing that wasn't really like a symptom, but I have like a perk. The first trimester pregnancy. Yeah. I think that, like, we were talking about this earlier today, but we find that we are complaining a lot or feel like we're complaining a lot, talking about different things that are weird and uncomfortable. And it makes sense because this is something that, at least for us two, we haven't experienced before. It's something new, but...
So it's almost like we're like identifying it.
Yeah.
It's not, we're not like trying to complain. It's just like, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And sometimes it does come down, at least for me, to genuine complaining, where I was so sick of feeling gross. I just wanted to eat my favorite food and feel fine and go to the gym and just feel normal. But there are lots of really good things about the first trimester too. I remember, and it was the sweetest thing in the entire world, but when we went to our first ultrasound appointment, and like we actually got to hear the heartbeat, it put things into a whole different perspective for me than I'd ever thought of before, and it was really sweet. My husband cried. It was really cute. Yeah.
So
he like started getting teary-eyed, and he just started to cry, and it was so cool, but we could just hear it, and I got to see like the actual motion of the heartbeat. I got to watch the heart move, which was really cool, and that kind of put things into perspective. And so when I find that I'm complaining or feel really sick of it or think, man, I feel like I've been pregnant for a million years, it helps me to put it into perspective a little bit of, you know, why, and it makes it feel worth it. And, you know, I don't know, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because I think it's really easy to, like, for one, especially in these videos, obviously, like, we're talking about the weird or negative things about it, but that's because that is kind of, like, a big thing. People are like, oh, what did you experience? What was yours like? And also, when you're going through it, it's easy to focus on those things. There's so many reasons of why pregnancy is so amazing, and that kind of, it just totally makes up for it. I remember at our first ultrasound, we actually saw the baby. She looked like a little jelly bean.
Yeah,
at that point.
I think the ultrasound tech told us they call them gummy bears or something
bears, yeah.
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. But I think it was like her arm or her leg, like what would be, you know, a fully functioning arm or leg, just moved, and it was so cool. And it's funny how just like such a small thing, but seeing that there was an actual developing person in there and she was moving was so cool, and it just made it totally worth it. And feeling her kick, and obviously that's not in your first trimester, but you really just get so excited and realize how worth it is, because it's the best. You get a cute kid out of it. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully our kids are cute. We haven't seen them yet.
Oh, that's true. If not, we'll just like send him back in and be like, retry.
If my kid ever sees this and you're ugly, I love you. And I think you're adorable.
Well, anyways, thank you so much, you guys, for sitting here and just listening to us chat and kind of complain. I'm just kidding. Compare our first trimester experiences. Hopefully you got something from it. If not, hopefully it was at least entertaining. But comment below any other future videos you guys are interested in seeing, topics you want me to address or talk about, if you want to see her again, if you don't want to see her again.
Everybody say never come back. Like, no, that girl's whack.
Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up. That's the last thing. Okay. Bye, guys.